Hi, everyone. Judge Andrew Napolitano here for Judging Freedom. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. Pepe Escobar joins us from Shanghai, China. Pepe, a pleasure, my dear friend.
Greetings from Shanghai, the powerhouse capital of Asia.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. A lot of questions to ask you about President Trump. You have a great article out, The Emperor Has No Clothes and No Cards, at LouRockwell.com. And of course, we'll post it at JudgeNap.com as well. And it's available in your other sites. Did Trump get the message when he arrived in Beijing and was met by a functionary as opposed to President Xi himself, who showed up to greet President Putin when he arrived in Beijing?
I'm not sure he got the message, Judge. And by the way, when Kim Jong Un visited Beijing, not only Xi Jinping went to the airport to personally greet him, but then they were on a convertible limousine in a convoy.
Shalom, Kol Halal Yahweh Shemil Shabbat Shabbat double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful like tabernacle of David. The elder Yahshua back with the WW3 Daily update. And let the weak say I'm strong. So Xi makes your boy, right, sleep in the guest house and doesn't greet him at the door. Let's see Joel. Let's just get Joel 3. All together as weak as we. I should get that, but I'm gonna get this instead. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares and the swords, your pruning hooks, and the spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. So Kim Jong Il, whatever that nigga's name is, if him and Xi are laughing, right, at the Babylonians, right, what is that? That is the weak, right, saying that they're strong. China has never been, right, at one time Moab was doing whatever, but can you remember when Moab was a superpower? The answer would be no. So anyway, I'm just gonna let Pepe riff, all right? Because basically what they're talking about is a babe in the woods in Beijing. So President Trump is swimming in the ocean with the big fish, right? And has no clue what he's doing in this little delegation that went over there to sell out the American people. So let's let him
sleep all the way to the Great Hall of the People.
Wow. Did Trump's advanced people know that President Xi would not be there? Because the look on Trump's face was one of pain, consternation, and surprise as he got to the tarmac, the bottom of the steps.
Well, this was maybe the first stage, and the Chinese, as masters of protocol, they delivered a message right from the start. This summit for us is about protocol. It's a diplomatic thing. We had already agreed. It was already postponed, but
Right.
it's not essential for us. But later, during the day, this morning, in the reception at the Great Hall of the People, and then in the state dinner, which finished a little while ago, Xi went out of his way to be extremely courteous and polite. And that is what really registered with Trump. Trump and I would say the whole delegation, they were like mesmerized by the whole thing. And of course, this is 5,000 years of diplomacy.
Right.
You're with the global masters, you know.
But back to the title of your piece. What cards does Trump have to play?
Since before he arrived, none. Absolutely. One of the key reasons, and this is something that we talked with the Iranian diplomats, and I talked here in Shanghai for the past 3 days, including today. He wanted to extract some sort of promise by Xi that he would put pressure on Tehran to get the American demands approved by Tehran, which is essentially a capitulation, a glorified form of capitulation. This was a non-starter. There is a strategic relationship, very, very sophisticated between Iran and China. It goes even beyond their 25-year, 400 billion deal in terms of exchanging infrastructure for energy. Arakshi was here, Judge, 2 weeks ago, and he talked to Wang Yi. And this is after he went to St. Petersburg and talked to Lavrov and Putin. So this triad, they coordinate at the highest level. And this is something that, especially the Trump administration, they still don't understand. This is a series of interlocking strategic partnerships. And the interests of Beijing, Moscow, and Tehran in terms of Eurasia integration and in terms of building a new system of international relations are completely contrary to what Trump is trying to do. But even like that, Judge, some of the things that Xi said this morning, I selected two or three passages which are immensely important. Right at the beginning, when he was greeting Trump, he said, "The transformation not seen in a century," which is something that he actually told Putin when he visited Moscow in 2023, when he was being led by Putin to his limousine outside of the Kremlin. They stopped and Xi told Trump exactly the same thing. Sorry, Putin. And Putin responded, and the thing is, yes, but now we are in the driving seat.
Mm.
And Putin and Xi, they know that. So, finishing what he said, the transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. With one sentence, he characterized everything that is happening now.
Fluid and turbulent.
Fluid and turbulent, which is a very elegant way of putting it, especially concerning the war on Iran, right?
But you know, the president's a little dense. Did he get that as a criticism of his attack on Iran?
It's hard to. We'll be extrapolating, Judge. Maybe he didn't even get the message, but I'm sure he got the next thing that she said because it was very direct. So she asked rhetorically, "Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations?" Well, we could go a long way demystifying this concept. This is Thucydides trap concept basically is bullshit. You cannot compare the Peloponnesian War with the 21st century relation between big powers. And Graham Allison, he didn't even read Thucydides properly. The best interpreters of Thucydides are Italian, and he doesn't even know these guys. Anyway, the Chinese, they took that very, very seriously in terms of, okay, now we are the emerging power. And of course, the hegemonic power is going to fight us. But then he proposed something extraordinary. I would say that this is the most important thing of all the meetings during the day. There were 3 meetings during the day. She proposed a new vision for the US-China relationship for the next 3 years, in his own words. So he's thinking in terms of until the end of the Trump term. And it's absolutely startling. 3 words, Judge: constructive strategic stability. So this is the new motto from the Chinese side to define US-China relations. Will the Trump administration, Trump himself, understand what that means? We cannot be so sure. Why? Because the empire of chaos, by definition, is not constructive, it's destructive. It's what we are seeing in Iran, for instance. They are not strategic, they are basically tactical. So it's one tactics one after another. And it's not about instability, it's about chaos. And of course, even including nowadays piracy. So how they can understand conceptually what she is trying to say. And he added, Judge, something very important: cooperation. He talked about cooperation 3 or 4 times, and cooperation with the U.S. as the
Corporation. So the meeting wasn't really about the war so much as it is about trade, moving forward, and what? The New World Order. And I made a video earlier, a lesson, and it went directly into this meeting. And the meeting is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to have a lot to do with China playing the role of Pakistan as the mediator between Iran and the U.S. Or that's what it was played up to be. But this is about trade. Okay, this is about moving into the New World Order. Now listen to Pepe as he goes into that. We back it up just to hear.
added, Judge, something very important: cooperation. He
Corporation.
talked about cooperation 3 or 4 times, and cooperation with the U.S. as the mainstay, his own term for healthy stability, even with competition within proper limits.
Sound like war to you? No, they're over there talking about how to move forward and do this trade. Because China and Babylon depend on each other as far as commerce.
So all that is very sound, diplomatic, and realistic. But can we possibly imagine that the Trump administration is going to do a, to quote Annalena Baerbock, a 180-degree turn or 360-degree turn and start this new relationship for the next 3 years? We doubt it.
So what does Trump want? He wants Xi to have the Chinese buy more American soybeans and
Yes.
more Boeing jets.
So where's the war at in this? Okay, because after he leaves Beijing, what is it? He goes right back to blocking their oil. So what the hell kind of meeting is this?
Which is something that they discussed this before the summit and this afternoon as well. It's possible that the Chinese, as a goodwill gesture, will buy more Boeings, and also, of course, I would say it could even be a personal gesture: buy more soybeans because they know that the MAGA base in the Midwest will like it, and Trump, in electoral terms, will also like it.
All right. That's good enough. They had a meeting that didn't go into the war. So where's the war at? Right? The war is exactly where they want it to be. All right? As they restructure what? The face of the New World Order. Okay? They're cutting Iran in. They're going to let them run the strait or whatever. Right? As they look into other options and other oil opportunities. This is not the only, that's just a small percentage of what's going on. There are other things that go through the strait as well, so all of that is being negotiated. It's not just about oil. Although, I mean, what else is being trafficked through that strait? All I got to do is use the word traffic. So anyway, yeah, a babe in the woods. You got to know what's going on, right, from a greater perspective. All right, this isn't about the war. All right, let's get this real quick. I mean, how can it be? Sirach 5 and 15, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. How can it be when, I mean, if oil Understand this. Here's the restructure. What does the Strait of Hormuz have to do with restructuring of the New World Order? Well, right now, oil is over there being traded in the yuan. How about that? And that's not a secret. Iran is trading oil in China's money. Uh, there's a war going on about oil, and Babylon goes to visit Xi. What are they talking about? Okay, are they talking about a fight over some oil, or are they talking about how they're going to try to move in, take things to the next level, even though their time is running out? Okay, so that's what they're over there doing. All right, they're over there scheming. Oh, we're gonna have a little talk about this war. No, you're not. This is what you're over there doing. Lest Satan. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You're over there scheming. We're familiar with your evil scheme. You're over there with Xi cooking up a scheme right now. All right? We know all about it.
And Xi send to President Trump about Taiwan. He more or less preempted before Trump said a word. If I have this correctly, President Xi admonished them that Taiwan is an internal domestic matter and none of your business.
It's all of our business. We can cook up them chips for the NWO. With that, we pray that the elect, Salakia, not the world. We pray that the elect ratified you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.